All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises and honors due to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who wouldn't have this truth without them. They were the instruments used by the Most High Yahweh to reveal this truth to us. And a shalom to the Israelite foreigners who be like unto the speckled bird, looking like the other nations, but the Spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, meaning they're Israelites. Yeah, and shalom to the real sisters out there, you know, who actually, actually stayed in order, you know. Shalom to y'all. Shalom to all the hopeful elect out there. And this is gonna be okay, hold on. Yeah, shalom to those shalom to those real sisters out there that they are keeping real, holding down. They're really about this truth. They're sincere. Just want to add to them what I was saying. But anyways, just kind of elaborate. Kind of. Yeah. Go on to what it means, but yeah, I'm getting. Yeah, so this live is gonna be about the atrocities of Amerikkka, the atrocities of the daughter of Babylon, the atrocities by the atrocities by the so-called white man, who rules the modern day, who rules the daughter of Babylon, which is Amerikkka, and why you're a fucking fool for celebrating this folly day. Why you ain't got no business celebrating this folly day. Those of y'all who did celebrate it, y'all was going to fuck off, man. You was celebrating a holiday that didn't benefit you at all, man. It's a folly day, actually, that didn't benefit you at all. It only benefited one group of people, and those are the so-called white people that come from Esau, man, who is the original so-called white man. That is who benefited from that holiday, not y'all. It would be like like how the brother from the GMS Memphis camp, put it, it would be like the ancient Egyptians celebrating the Passover. It was not for their benefit, it was actually for their detriment. It would be as foolish as that. And you so-called black people, and you so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans, and you speckled birds, the true, basically so-called people which go back to so-called blacks, Latinos, or natives on the father's side, but don't look so-called black, Latino, or native. It's folly for you to celebrate that shit. It's complete madness, and and the reason why I'm going to it, all these atrocities, committed by these damn devils in this in America, spelled with the triple K. All these atrocities committed by the good old USA, right? All these fucking atrocities, man. No. Let me be more specific. Atrocities committed by the US. The fuck, man. The internet is slow. It could be Satan as well, trying to hinder this truth from coming out. Against I have to use the fucking bywords that they put on our people. Let's get into them. Okay. I'm gonna hold on. Salakia. I'll start off, of course, with you so-called black people, which y'all are the tribe of Judah. Y'all are the tribe of Judah that the Bible speaks of. All right, let me get into it. Got this Wikipedia article. In the United States, so-called black genocide is a characterization that mistreatment of so-called African Americans, because y'all are neither, by both the U.S. government and so-called white Americans. Read Esau, both in the past and the present, amounts to genocide. The decades of lynching and long-term racial discrimination were first formally described as genocide by now defunct organization, the Civil Rights Congress, in a petition which it submitted to the United Nations in 1951. Hold on, I can. In the 1960s, Malcolm X accused the U.S. government of engaging in genocide against so-called black people, citing long-term injustice, cruelty, and violence against so-called black people by so-called white people. And this is just like a little synopsis. Basically, it's like I don't go into too much details. And they try to play down, call it conspiracy theories. Of course, Esau holds himself not guilty. Get into that. That's I have a medical condition. I deal with infirmities a lot. So Salakia for the interruptions and shit. But it's part of what I have to deal with. Some accusations of genocide have been described as conspiracy theories, of course. In response to the war, hey, read Conspiracy Truths. In response to the war on poverty legislation proposed by President LBJ Lyndon B. Johnson in the mid-1960s, which included public funding of the pill for the poor at the first so-called Black Power Conference, which was held in July 1967. Family planning, birth control was said to be quote unquote black genocide, which it was. They was trying to keep our people from popping from populating the country too much, because our people are way stronger when it comes to our people are fruitful, man. The Egyptians tried to do the same shit, and this is Babylon spiritually, and this is also spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So of course they're gonna try to. Of course, they're Esau is doing the same shit as the Egyptians, except it's more advanced, and our people are way more gone. At least during the Egyptian captivity, our people knew who we was. Hold on. After abortion was more widely legalized in 1970, some so-called black militants, see how they demonizing them, named abortion specifically as a part of they're going to call it a conspiracy theory. Read Conspiracy Fact or Conspiracy Truth. Most so-called African American were not convicted of a conspiracy and race about genocide failed. Rhetoric about race genocide failed. That's because the court systems are run by these devils, so they're not going to hold themselves guilty of shit. That doesn't mean that it was just a theory, but it's whatever, Consider the source that I'm getting it from. However, 1973 media revelations about decades of government-sponsored compulsory sterilization led some to say that this was the way they word it, led some, like it wasn't, but it led some to say, of course, to say that this was part of a plan for so-called black genocide, which it was, but again, this is Esau we're dealing with right here, the damn devil. Other events around this time period were also declared methods of so-called black genocide, such as the war on drugs, and there's proof of that. The war on crime, it was, and the war on poverty, which had detrimental effects on the so-called black community. It did, all by design. During the Vietnam War, the increasing use of so-called black soldiers in combat provided another basis for the genocide of a government-supported quote-unquote black genocide. And it was. Our people was cannon fodder in those wars as they are today. In recent decades, the disproportionately high so-called black prison population has also been cited to support the claim of so-called black genocide. The way these devils fucking word shit, I'm telling you. Of course. he holds himself not guilty. In fact, let me get that. Feed the flock of the slaughter, which I'm doing right now. That's something else. Like, you want to celebrate this devil's folly. That you want to. This devil ain't even like we're supposed to be all right with this devil. Like, we're supposed to forget everything he did, forgive and forget everything he did, when he ain't even apologetic. First of all, he's not even sorry. Zechariah 11:4. Feed the flock of the slaughter. Verse 5. Whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You know, this is talking about you so-called black people, you so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans primarily. You know, it's talking about, you know, these devils slaying our people and holding themselves not guilty, genociding our people and holding themselves not guilty. You know, and they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, except they don't say his name, they just say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Our own sellout leaders pity us not. That's something else. They have our own people working against us. I don't get into all this though. All right, slavery as genocide. Hold on, I can. Throughout the existence of the enslavement of who Esau calls Africans, you know, he calls y'all Africans, but you're Israelites. Pay no attention to that. In the U.S., instances demonstrative of genocide have arguably occurred countless times. Professor Walter Johnson at Harvard University depicts in his book, The Broken Heart of America, numerous accounts of violence displayed against so-called Black Americans. One instance depicts how enslaved men would be separated from their wives. Such practices would inevitably serve as a method of population control by altering natural production patterns. You know, this is the same type of shit they do today. They do the same type of shit. They do the same type of shit today. They you know, but they do it in a different way. They basically bribe the women of our nation, the so-called Black, Latina, Native American, and you speckled bird women. Basically bribe you Eves to betray your man and kick him out, so that Esau, the slave master, Uncle Satan, you know, he raises your kids. You know, he raises your kids and you're dependent on him to survive. You're dependent on him to survive, and your kids are dependent on him, you know. And y'all played a big role in the destruction of our nation as well, taking the side of our enemy Esau Edom to fuck us over, you know. And y'all, just for a bag and for a higher position, a little higher position. You know, with y'all are about to find out that wasn't worth it either. You know, there's a judgment for that. And that's the judgment of trusting in a serpent in the first place. You know. For that, hold on. Dealing with afflictions. On another occasion, after not being able to find his keys, one slave owner brutally murdered his slave and was later acquitted by a jury after a one-day trial. But the scripture I just read, they hold themselves not guilty. Johnson noted that this case was similar to the 2014 shooting of Michael Brown, a so-called black teenager killed in Ferguson, Missouri. Johnson argues that the violence of the slavery era is still present in modern time, and it is. And these cops, they're the modern day enforcers. They're the modern day overseers. That is their role. Johnson, for a so-called black American living in the era of U.S. slavery, no rights were guaranteed whether they were personally enslaved or not. You know, because we are for a prey in this place. And let me address you Eves that fucking sold our people out. You know, because y'all are part of the problem as well. Y'all sold our people out. Micah 7:10, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her now. Her now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Yeah, you Eves. You know that take the side of Esau over our people. And today call to divest from so-called black men, you Judites. You wicked Judite so-called black women that do that shit. And who actually call so-called black men a byword. And call them what's that term y'all use? Bullet bags. You know, which is totally out of line. And shows that y'all are traitors and take the side of the so-called white man. And that's why Jacob's trouble is going to be especially fucked up for y'all. You know, just for that. You know, and also, you know, following the so-called white man's agenda of feminism. And feminism was designed to fuck our communities up, man. Feminism was designed to divide and conquer the so-called black, Latino, and Native American community, man versus woman, by causing our women to hate the man and look down upon him. It was funded by the Rockefellers. It was pushed out there by Gloria Steinem, uh, a lesbian Edomite woman who pretended to identify with your struggle and pretended to be your best friend, but she was an agent the whole time. Hey, the destruction of our families, the destruction of our people's minds too. Not just the destruction of their bodies, but the destruction of their minds as well. That's what this place is about. America is all about feminism. America is all about homosexuality, which is aimed at so-called black people, Latinos, and natives. Primarily, it's aimed at our people, aimed at Israelites. So-called black men are the men that are most commonly portrayed as homosexuals, as homosexuals and weak, either the homosexuals or they're thugs, or they're always cracking jokes and shit, like not to be taken seriously. Never serious. The laughing stock, basically. Or basically cooning and buffooning, right? Or they're they're weak and feminine, bro. And then you have a lot of times the so-called Latino man being portrayed that way too. Showing you that so-called black people and so-called Latinos times, man, and how y'all was pitted against each other in this country. They continue to do that. I live in Texas, and they continue to, and these Edomites have gotten in the minds of a lot of you Northern Kingdom, so-called Mexicans primarily, living here, man, to look down upon your brothers, the so-called black man, who is just a shade darker than a lot of y'all. Especially here in where I'm at, the city that I'm at in San Antonio, Texas. A lot of so-called Mexicans from San Antonio, Texas, from Austin, Texas, from the Valley area, from Corpus. It seems to be worse closer to the Austin, San Antonio area. A lot of y'all want to take the side of the so-called white man. A lot of y'all think you're so-called white. A lot of y'all don't see the so-called black man as your brothers. You see him as the other because you think you're so-called white. Y'all think you're Españoles, man. But you got it fucked up. I'm gonna go into how the so-called white man did you so-called Mexicans. Now you're gonna see how he continues to do y'all, and you're gonna see that the so-called white man is not your brother. And you have more in common. Y'all have more in common with so-called black people, than y'all think. Way more in common. You need to get over the skin color thing. You need to get over this propaganda you've been taught of so-called black people. All so-called black people are criminals and shit, and thugs and shit like that. All they want to do is rob you and take your women. You want to y'all gotta get over that propaganda, you know. you know, and you know, and yeah, the one you call JC, when you call Jesus Cristo, his name is, su nombre es Yahushai, and then el anciano, and then hebreo anciano, and then hebreo verdadero, y Yahushai es un llamado negro, un hombre llamado negro. Es en la Biblia, en el libro de Apocalipsis, capítulo 1, versos 13, 14, 15, 14 y 15. I want to bring out some scriptures in Spanish too, for you so-called Mexicans that speak Spanish, that are from Mexico. But a lot of you so-called Mexicans, especially the ones born here, a lot of y'all know English, so y'all know what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying perfectly. But this is part of the lies that was taught to you here in America. Taught to you here in America, and wherever you came from, Mexico, was taught to you there. And then when you came over here, it was reinforced by this fucking devil right here. Let me get it real quick. Apocalipsis, capítulo 1. And I'm going to just address it real quick and get back right into the subject of what I was going into before this. Capítulo 1, verso 13. Y en medio de los siete candeleros a uno semejante al Hijo del Hombre, vestido en una ropa que llegaba hasta los pies y ceñido por el pecho con un cinto de oro. 14. Su cabeza y sus cabellos eran blancos, como blanca llana, como nieve, sus ojos como llama de fuego. 15. Y sus pies semejante, el punto es aquí, al bronce bruñido, refulgente como en un horno, y sus voz como estruendo de muchas aguas. Burned bronze, burned brass. Burned brass, and it's very dark. And if his feet are that color, that his whole body is. And hair like wool. Why did it mention that the hair was like wool as well as white as snow? So this is what your pastor, what he's not going to tell you. Los falsos iglesias, they're not going to tell you that. Daniel 10:6. En el libro de Daniel, capítulo 10, verso 6. Showing you that, again, it's like a precept to that. Daniel 10:6. Get it. Daniel 10:6. Reina Valera 1960. I'm gonna get it from there. Su cuerpo era como de berilo y su rostro parecía un relámpago y sus ojos como antorchas de fuego y sus brazos y sus pies como de color de bronce bruñido y el sonido de sus palabras como el estruendo de una multitud. You know, a certain man. Let me get Daniel 10:6 in the KJV, and then I get the lexicon as well, man. His body was also like the barrel, and his face like the appearance of lightning. His eyes were like flaming torches. His arm and his feet like the green gleam of polished bronze, which the word there is burnished in Hebrew. So burnished bronze, burnished brass. And the sound of his words like the sound of a tumult. Okay, that's NASB, but it go in. Hey, you know, they're not that far apart. So the KJV and the NSB or ASB are not that far apart. You know, eyes is lamp. You know, it's pretty much identical. His body was also like the barrel, his face as the appearance of lightning, his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms, his feet like an in colored polished brass. I already went into it. Really, it's burnished. The word there, Hebrew word there, kalal, meaning burnished. It's a burnished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. Yeah. And then let's get the description of the Most High Yahweh, because these are the lies that our people was taught. These are the strongholds that this devil has over our people. So-called white JC, you know, or so-called white image of the law of the Most High as an old, fat, so-called white man with balding head and long hair and a white beard, but not like wool, just straight, stringy. You know, in that image. The image of the Lord, the Messiah, you know, who y'all was taught to call JC. You know, is the so-called white image of the dude with long hair, long straight hair, and a long stringy beard, and blue eyes and pale skin. Those are huge strongholds over our people. And they are heavily reinforced in this place called Amerikkà, known as Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon in the Bible. And let me get Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and ages of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head, like the pure wool. His throne was like the fire flame, and his wheels is burning fire. So see, you see here, his hair is described like the pure wool. There's only one group of people, there's one group of people that has that type of hair, and that is the so-called black man. El llamado negro. We get Daniel 7 and 9 in La Reina Valera. Estuve mirando hasta que fueron puestos tronos y se sentó un anciano de días, cuyo vestido era blanco como la nieve, y el pelo y su cabeza como lana limpia. Tu trono llama de fuego, y las ruedas de mismo fuego ardente. So, como lana limpia, like the pure wool. And then let's get where it says, if you saw, Yahushua says that you seen me, you seen the Father. If you seen me, you seen the Father. Get that in the KJV, in the English. John 14 and 9. Yahushua, because his name is actually Yahushua. This is an English translation from the Greek translation, but his name is actually Yahushua. Yahushua saith unto him, have I been so long time with you? Because he is Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, the house of David, you know, who had his heritage, kept the law, statutes, and commandments. So did his parents, and so did, the ones before him, He was raised in the law, statutes, and commandments. He was raised speaking that original Hebrew. And let me get John 14 and 9. Yahushua said unto him, have I been so long time without you? And yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Because I should show you that Yahushua, he looks like the Father. If you seen him, you saw the Father. So there you go, man. I'm trying to get to the point. John 14 and 9. Juan capítulo 14 y verso 9. Yahushua le dijo, es verdad, en verdad es Yahushua en el hebreo anciano, en el hebreo verdadero. Y Yahushua el Señor, ser una hebreo israelita del el tribu de Judá, de la casa de David, y tienen, y tienen, he had, su, he had his identity, su identidad, heritage. What's heritage in Spanish? Let me get it, because yo hablo más o menos, but you, you so-called Mexicanos, tribu de Issacar, gotta get it. Tienen su, tienen, tiene past tense, okay. Él tuvo su herencia, su lenguaje y los leyes, hold on. I think it's this. Y los mandamientos, estatutos y ley de, el anciano de días y el altísimo, Yahweh. Yahweh es el nombre, el verdadero nombre de el altísimo. Significa, y Yahweh significa, let me get, he is, means he is español, traducción. Él es un conjugación, I think it's conjugación, I think I got it right. Un conjugación de yo soy. So let me get back into these scriptures. Yahushua le dijo, tanto tiempo hace que estoy con vosotros y no me has conocido, Felipe. El que ha visto a mí, ha visto al Padre. ¿Cómo pues dices tú, muéstranos el Padre? Yeah. And also created in the image. He is created in the image. It's 1 Colossians, he is created in that image. I gotta touch on this real quick. Colossians chapter 1, verse 3, who had delivered us from the power of darkness and has translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son. Verse 14, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. Verse 15, who is the image of the invisible power, Yahweh, the firstborn of every creature. So he's made in the image of the Most High Yahweh. Let me get Slagia. These devils kicked me out my life. Well, let me get back to where I was. Yeah, I brought out Colossians and, well, damn, I don't know how. Damn, this fucking devils for real. Fucking hindered. I brought out Colossians. Well, I brought out several precepts in the Spanish. I don't know which ones made it through because I was kicked out. Just showing you, hey, this devil does not want you to get this truth. Oh yeah, I brought out Juan 14:9. I don't know if this came out because of what the shit that they did. Juan capítulo 14 y verso 9. Yahweh le dijo, tanto tiempo hace que estoy con vosotros y no me has conocido, Felipe. El que me ha visto a mí, ha visto el Padre. ¿Cómo pues dices tú, muéstranos el Padre? And before, antes I brought out, hold on. Brought out hold on. I gotta look it up. These motherfuckers shut my shit down. I could get now my internet is fucking up. Not able to type. Okay, it came back to me. Showing you that they will do everything they can do to stop the truth. They do this to us a lot. I think it's this verse right here. Yup, it's this one right here. Daniel capítulo 7, verso 9. Estuve mirando hasta que fueron puestos tronos, y se sentó un anciano de días, cuyo vestido era blanco como la nieve, y el pelo de su cabeza como lana limpia, y su trono llama de fuego, y las ruedas del mismo fuego ardiente. So, there you go. él dice, el pelo de su cabeza como lana limpia, like the pure wool. That's only so-called black people, solamente los llamados negros tenga, tienen pelo como lana. And just in case they did it, just in case they cut me off whenever I was bringing out Apocalipsis capítulo 1, versos 13 a 15. Just in case I bring it out again. Alright, let me get it. Apocalipsis capítulo 1, verso 13 a 15. Y en medio de los 7 candeleros a uno semejante al Hijo del Hombre, vestido en una ropa que llegaba hasta los pies y ceñido por el pecho con un cinto de oro. 14. Sus cabezas y sus cabellos. Now keep in mind, in Daniel chapter 7, it was talking about the hair on his head. So this is like a precept to that. Because skin can't be white. Pielo no puede ser blanco. Only, hair can though. Pero hay pelo blanco. So it's obviously, man, I got interrupted. Ooh, they sus ojos como, so it's talking about basically here el cabello, su cabello, su cabello, cabello on top of the head. Shit. Fuck. My bad. Damn, the internet's fucking up. Satan. Yep. Satan doing it. I didn't even do nothing to make the keyboard withdraw itself. Basically, I couldn't use it. Yeah. What the hell? Hold on. Satan hindering hard. It's not registering. It's not registering again. Shalom, I'm back. Oh, it was 140. It was 144 when I got back. Kala Yahweh Shemi Al Shabbat Shemukal Kadash. Alright, so anyways, let me go back to what I was going into. Oh yeah. I was looking up on top of his head in Spanish, encima de su cabeza. But that doesn't seem right, so maybe I look up hair on top of his head, because yo hablo español más o menos. Damn. I'm telling you. No, Satan is hindering hard. Satan is hindering hard for real. I'm telling you. Now how Satan is working hard. For real. Satan is fucking with it. With my internet and shit. Cabello en el parte superior de la cabeza. There you go. Satan. You know, that's what Satan will do to stop you from bringing out the truth. That's the type of shit he will do. Or to slow you down. That's his job. He was created to be an adversary. Which is what Satan means. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so you get it. Sus ojos como llama de fuego. That just goes back to that just goes back to the book of Genesis, chapter 49. About Judah, since he came out of the tribe of Judah. I'm telling you, maybe I have to. Satan. Yep, Satan. That's definitely Satan. I'm telling you, bro. Fuck. Reina Valera, 1960. Genesis 49. El libro de Génesis, capítulo 49. Profecía de Jacob acerca de sus hijos. We go to the one about Judah. Los verdaderos judíos. Verso 8. Judá, te alabarán sus hermanos, tu mano en la cerviz de tus enemigos, los hijos de tu padre se inclinarán a ti. Verso 9. Cachorro de león, Judá de la. Let me get to the point. Verso. I'll just. Hold on. Verso 10. No será quitado el cetro de Judá, ni el legislador de entre sus pies, hasta que venga Silo. Y sus congregarán los pueblos. Verso 11. Atando a la vid su pollino, y la cepa el hijo de su asna. Lavó en el vino su vestido, y la sangre de uvas su manto. Verso 12. Sus ojos rojos del vino, y sus dientes blancos de la leche. So that was literally true. His eyes, so is not symbolic. His eyes is all the arguments that these devils and these people that defend these devils that defend Christianity, defend that religion, will use. They defend the false image of our Lord that they'll use. I'll say, oh no, that's symbolic. No, it's not. It's legit. If you drink enough alcohol, enough wine, your eyes will turn a reddish tint. It's called being bloodshot. And Yahushai was called a winebibber. And no wonder you see what he was going through. Coming from being on the highest position ever, being next to on the right hand side of the Most High Yahweh. And then when he was, you look into it, he was Solomon before, man. In a very high position and coming down very low and knowing he was going to get crucified. He was going to die in a very brutal way for all of our sins. The whole nation of Israel. Knowing what he was going to go through. You can't blame him. I mean, he was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the full extent, perfectly. And he drank wine. Matthew 11:19, KJV. The Son of Man came drinking and eating, and they said, Behold a man gluttonous and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children. And let me get that in the Reina Valera 1964. You tribes, mainly so-called Latinos that speak mainly Spanish. But there's there's Spanish speaking brothers, hermanos que hablan español. Muchos canales de hermanos que hablan puro español. Hold on, it's better. All right. Let me get hold on, I get that and I think I'm gonna get this one, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, Colossenses capítulo 1, versos 13 a 15, because they shut me down. They kicked me out of my life and I had to come back. El cual nos la librado de la potestad de las tinieblas y trasladó el reino de su amado Hijo. Verso 14, en que tenemos redención por su sangre, el perdón de pecados. 15, Él es la imagen de Dios invisible, el primogénito de toda creación. I had to get that. showing you he is made in the image of the Most High Yahweh. And then let me get okay. That exact verse. That verse that I pulled up in English. Get it in Spanish. Mateo capítulo 11, verso 19. 11, 19. I gotta get on point. Gotta get back on my point. Back on the subject. Vino el Hijo del Hombre que come y bebe, y dicen, he aquí un hombre comilón y bebedor de vino, amigo de publicanos y de pecadores. Pero la sabiduría es justificada por sus hijos. They called him a bebedor de vino. They called him borracho, basically, because he drank wine. Porque era bebe vino. Yeah, he did. Which made his eyes. Whole point is he made his eyes red with wine, rojo de vino, showing you that's not symbolic. And no es simbólico, es literal. His eyes was that way, and so that's literal. Then the fact that his feet and the rest of his body, sus pies y su cuerpo es el color de bronce burnido, burnished brass, burnished bronze. Llamado negro, un hombre llamado negro. And if Yahushai, JC, is who the world only calls JC, I should say, is the so-called black man, un llamado negro. Los verdaderos judíos son también. Our Lord sprang out of Judah, which is where you get the word Jew from. Hebrews 7:14, for it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning the priesthood. So the point is he sprung out of Judah. And in Hebreos 7, verso 14, because the northern kingdom got a reino del norte, los llamados latinos y americanos nativos have a hard time accepting that the Lord Yahushua was a so-called black man. The Messiah was a so-called black man, because you've been lied to by the so-called white man, el llamado blanco. You've been lied to by him, and brain defiled, miseducated. That he about how he looked. Y'all, that's why I'm going over this. Educated by let me get an English to Spanish. English to Spanish translation. And that is part of how this place America, how it destroyed us, because it was enforced even more here in America. America pushed that around the world, that image, which is actually Cesare Borgia. So that's how it kind of fits into this subject. Todos han sido mal educadas by, hold on. Todos ustedes han sido mal educadas por el llamado hombre blanco, por el llamado gringo. Por el llamado hombre blanco autoproclamado, to think that he was a so-called white man. And that was the image of and that was the image Alright, Shalom, I'm back. Let me get to what I was getting into. And that was the image. Cuando esa era la imagen de Translate did not respond after I typed that. Los llamados blancos, los edomitas de la Biblia son enojados porque estoy hablando el verdad y teaching, enseñando la verdad a mi gente, a mi raza. Okay, now it's back. Cuando esa era la imagen de César, surgió un homosexual. Un homosexual. Sodomita. Y un y cometió incesto con su hermana. Un completo diablo. Y demonio. Y un edomita. The Edomites. That's so that's goes into this subject about hey, that was an atrocity, man. That was an atrocity. That them stealing our heritage. That's a part of our heritage. That's a part of our heritage. Let me get that. Who oppress man and his heritage. This devil has a lot to pay for. They beat it out of us. It's in Micah, I believe. Micah 2, verse 4. Woe to them that devise iniquity, work evil upon their beds to plan this out. When in the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. Verse 2. And they covet fields, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And these devils is gonna fucking pay for it. Verse 3, therefore thus saith Yahweh, behold, against his family do I devise an evil. Because a nation, aka a race, is nothing more than a family. Es una familia. Una raza, una nación, es una familia. Do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. Yeah, bro. They're gonna pay. They're gonna pay for oppressing a man and his heritage. Micah 2. Micah. Let me get that. Micah Español también. Micah. Book of Micah. Miqueas. Capítulos. El segundo capítulo. And fucking see. Okay, hold on. Ah, shit. Salakio. My bad. perdón. Miqueas 2:1. Ay de los que sus camas piensa iniquidad y maquinan el mal, y cuando llega la mañana lo ejecutan, porque tienen en su mano el poder. Verso 2. Codician las heredades y las roban, y casas y las toman. Oprimen al hombre y a su casa, al hombre a su heredad. No dice esos pinches diablos, pinches edomitas, opriman al hombre y a su casa, al hombre a su heredad. Son opresores, son opresores de tu casa, tu heredad. So they're going to pay. Se van a pagar. Verso 3. Por tanto, así ha dicho Yahweh. He aquí yo pienso contra esta familia un mal, de cual no sacaréis vuestros cuellos, ni andaréis erguidos, porque el tiempo será malo. Evil times is coming to them, bad times. Coming to these devils, man. Because all this is applying to these devils today, man. These devils, and los the 2/3 of Jake, especially the 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos and Native Americans, who are on the side of Esau. The 2/3, los 2/3 de los israelitas. De los israelitas que toman, que se ponen del lado de Esaú, Edom. El diablo. La Biblia speak of, habla de el diablo de los que hablan la Biblia, el pinche llamados los pinches llamados blancos, los pinches llamados gringos. Hay los pinches llamados gringos caucásicos. They oppress you oppress you so-called black people, los llamados negros, los verdaderos judíos, real Jews, tribe of Judah, los haitianos, Haitians, I guess haitianos. which are primarily Levi, los verdaderos levitas, y los shit, dude, hold on. Haitians. Los llamados negros americanos, los verdaderos judíos, los haitianos, los verdaderos levitas, principalmente, y los llamados indios occidentales del Caribe. La tribu de Benjamin, let me get it. De Benjamin. El reino del sur, el reino de Judá. Y el reino norte, el reino de Israel, el casa de Efraín, los llamados latinos y los llamados americanos nativos. Oppressed together, and our heritage was taken. The heritage was taken from both kingdoms, and then, no nation played no country or kingdom, really it's a kingdom, played more of a role of doing this than the U.S. of America, the good old USA, which is known in the Bible as Babylon the Great, or as the daughter of Babylon. It fits the description. Matter of fact, let me get that. The children of Judah and the children of Israel, children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together. It's in Jeremiah, el libro de Jeremías, capítulo 20, verso 33. Thus say Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. That was it's about Babylon, man, and why Babylon is gonna be destroyed in a brutal fashion with nuclear bombs. That's why. And before it's gonna be taken apart piece by piece. This Babylon is already being taken apart piece by piece and is being exposed for the horror that it is. Let me get Jeremias